The Ballantyne's Fire, Agony, Failure, and the Lost 41. The Ballantyne's Fire on November 18, 1947, remains New Zealand's deadliest fire, claiming 41 lives, a tragedy defined by systemic failures that sealed the fate of the victims. The logistical errors that sealed their fate. The disaster began around 3:30 p.m. in a basement, but it quickly became an unstoppable tragedy due to critical human decisions. The ignored alarm, a crucial early alert about the fire, was not logged by the brigade. The fire was instead dispatched at 3:46 p.m. as a simple cellar fire, ensuring a fatal 16-minute delay that allowed the blaze to take hold. The catastrophic order. Even as the brigade arrived at 3:48 p.m., management ordered staff returning from breaks to go back to work. This command, based on a dangerous miscalculation, ensured the 41 victims remained trapped inside. The firefighters' horror and the deadly flu. The scene confronting the arriving firefighters was far worse than a simple cellar fire, turning their operation into a nightmare of logistics and helplessness. The unstoppable ascent. The store's old structures, with open stairwells and lift shafts, acted as deadly flues. These channels rapidly pushed a wave of dense, toxic smoke and intense heat up to the upper floors, making internal rescue attempts virtually impossible immediately. Witnessing the agony, facing a fully involved structure and limited ladders, the greatest trauma for the firefighters was the sight of the victims, mostly young women staff, crowded desperately at the windows. They were forced into the devastating position of witnessing victims they could not immediately reach. The victims' final agony and the aftermath. The 41 victims, primarily staff from the millinery, credit, and accounts departments, experienced a sudden and overwhelming sense of terror in their final moments. Sudden asphyxiation. They went from believing they were safe to realizing they were completely cut off. Death was primarily caused by smoke inhalation and asphyxiation, as the toxic cloud rapidly overcame them long before the flames reached their location. The horrific loss included a pregnant staff member who, seeing no other option, jumped from an upper window in a final, agonizing attempt to escape. The painful recovery. The intense heat left the building a gutted shell. The recovery effort was painstaking, and the last of the bodies were not recovered until November 21st, 3 days after the fire. Identifying the victims was extremely challenging, relying heavily on dental records due to the extent of the destruction. A new era of safety. The Royal Commission of Inquiry confirmed that the high death toll was a direct result of management prioritizing the business over human life. This finding forced a complete national overhaul of fire safety laws in New Zealand. A civic mass funeral for the 41 victims was held at Ruru Lawn Cemetery on November 23, 1947.